What's going on, everybody? It's the Reformation Keegan, and I'm here today with some free comic book day pickups. Part 1. There will be a part 2 video eventually, but I want to do these videos in parts because I don't want the videos to be too long, don't want them to be like an hour. So I'm going to start with some of the pickups that I have right now, and we're going to start with Noah by Darren Aronofsky. This is really, really cool. It's hardcover. I didn't know I wanted this until I saw this at one of my local comic shops. And the reason I grabbed this is not just because of the cover, but just because of the implications. So the Bible's always been interesting to me. Noah's Ark has always been interesting to me. So I really want to see how Noah is characterized. And we even have a verse from Genesis here where it says, "The Creator saw the wickedness of man was great in the world, and it grieved his heart. So the Creator said, I am sorry that I have made them." So to me, that is essentially an elevator pitch. And the elevator pitch here is that exact verse. So I really want to know more. I want to know what this is about. It's rated M for mature. And I'm excited to read this. This is predicated off of a movie, and I don't really know what the movie is, but I do want to watch the movie after I'm done reading this. And as you can see, it is quite lengthy, but at the same time, I think the art looks fantastic. So I'm really excited to read this. Again, titled Noah, and I want to see what this is all about. So one of the best things about going to a comic shop sometimes is when you don't know exactly what you're looking for, but then you see something that kind of catches your eye and you go, you know what, I'm going to give this an opportunity. And that's exactly what Noah is in this instance. Is it's an opportunity for me to read something new and read something different that's not just superhero related. However, speaking of superheroes, we have a Marvel Epic Collection. We have the Mighty Thor, the Surtur War. So I've been reading a lot more Thor and Loki recently. And I also read the Ballad of Beta Ray Bill, which I thought was fantastic. Probably one of my favorite Marvel stories I've ever read. And the Ballad of Beta Ray Bill is actually within this collection, so I'm going to probably end up giving that a reread at some point. But the reason I grabbed this is because I have enjoyed what I have read of Walter Simonson, who is a premier Thor creator. And I'm excited to read this just because I want to know more about Thor. I want to know more about Norse mythology. I want to know a little more about the characters. And because I love the Loki TV show, and I love Loki in general, and I love Tom Hiddleston's performances in the Thor movies, that enticed me to grab this. Plus, knowing a little more about Beta Ray Bill as well, because I only read the ballad, but I also read the Argent Star by Daniel Warren Johnson, which I love that story too. And if you're going to read anything of Daniel Warren Johnson's, that is one that I would read. This also collects Thor 337 to 356, so you get a lot of titles in this. And again, I wanted to read this just to know a little more about Thor. So we have the Mighty Thor Epic Collection, Surtur War. Now we have a really unique one that I think's a little bit off the radar. We have Joe the Barbarian, DC Black Label, written by the legendary Grant Morrison, illustrated by the great Sean Murphy. So I didn't really know much about this, but I am a huge DC fan, so I wanted to give Joe the Barbarian a read. And here is what we have. Joe Manson is no hero. He's just a 13-year-old kid with a pet rat named Jack, a mom who's trying hard to keep their family afloat, and a case of diabetes that ensures an insulin coma is only a single missed meal away. He's got a notebook full of drawings, a room full of toys, a school full of bullies, and a house full of memories. He's no one special until tonight. On this particular evening, Joe is transported to an incredible world of danger and daring, one that's both strangely familiar and unlike anything he's ever seen. In this uncanny new world, the stairways, hallways, and doors of his big dark house are mist-shrouded mountains, vast kingdoms, and forbidding gateways to parts unknown, while his toys and his pet are mighty warriors, and Joe is the dying boy, the long-awaited savior who can overthrow King Death and restore the light. Joe has no idea if he's really a hero or if he's just hallucinating, but he does know that he must complete his quest, or else Joe the Barbarian's first adventure will also be his last. So to me, this is really cool. It's like a fantasy-style story where you have a kid who is undergoing a lot of different changes and undergoing a lot of different things in his life. So, for example, like you have the diabetes, you have bullying, things like that, and this child is trying to vicariously live through something else that is bigger than what he understands. So I think this is going to be a really, really unique read. And Grant Morrison's a fantastic writer, so I am excited to give Joe the Barbarian a read. Now we have Extremity. This is volume 1, The Artist. I also picked up volume 2, but I just read The Artist recently. So I wanted to say that this is absolutely incredible. Really, really good story, written and illustrated by the great Daniel Warren Johnson. And this is about a girl named Thea. This is a tribal style story. Really, really cool. I've only read 6 issues, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing because we have a majority of themes that I think are pretty present in today's culture, actually, even though this is a tribal style story, because in the world of tribalism, you get a lot of biases, and those biases end up becoming something that's more, well, extreme. And I think that Daniel Warren Johnson is an absolute genius when it comes to writing, too. A lot of people love his art, but his writing is just as good. So Extremity was one that I felt like I had to pick up, and I'm really happy that I did, because, again, the first 6 issues, they've been astounding. Speaking of Daniel Warren Johnson, we also have Transformers, and this is the first 6 issues, and I was astonished by this because I've never really read or watched anything of Transformers, but I wanted to give it an opportunity because it's something that, again, that I've never read or I've never watched. And knowing what I know about Daniel Warren Johnson and how great he is, I thought I would give this an opportunity, and I'm really happy that I did. It was worth the money, and these 6 issues go by so fast. I read them all at once, and what I love about this is you get a human and machine relationship, and we can see how machines sometimes operate more like human beings than human beings do, which I think is really, really interesting. And we can see how through personification these machines have human-like qualities. They can speak, they feel emotions, they want to help others, they want to help people get better, they want to relate to other beings that are not them. So like Optimus Prime, like for example, has a lot of human characteristics, and I absolutely love this. Again, the art incredible, the writing just as good, and it went by so fast. We encountered a kid named Spike and Carly, and they are really, really relatable characters that have undergone a lot of tragedy, and the pitch here is, can tragedy equal triumph? And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I will say the first 6 issues, absolutely astounding. And now we have Geiger. So I picked up volumes 2, it's the Gary Frank variant, volume 3, and volume 4, and I have read all of these already. I already read the first volume that came out in 2021, so I said, you know what, I need to pick up the rest of these because Geiger is absolutely amazing, and actually I think it might be my new favorite ongoing title. It was Absolute Wonder Woman, but I think for outside of the DC canon, Geiger would be my favorite. Again, tragedy and triumph, kind of like Transformers. I think Geiger's a really unique character because he's somebody who actually has a lot of sentimental value but doesn't really want to show that. So there's even a theme of toxic masculinity there. But the addition of Nate in this section is really, really good. So I really enjoy that. Nate is almost like that source of wisdom and that source of sentimental nature that I think Geiger really needs, and Geiger kind of feeds off of. So I really, really like this because we can see how literal pollution and radioactivity can overtake the world and control us in so many different ways, in so many forms. So again, Geiger trades 2, 3, and 4. I highly advise giving these a read. I didn't stop. Once I started reading one issue, I kept going and going, and I did not stop until there were no more issues left to read. So now I'm going to be collecting Geiger as an ongoing title because it is that good. So again, we have Noah, we have Thor the Surtur War, we have Joe the Barbarian, Extremity, Transformers, and Geiger. That's part 1 of what I've picked up for Free Comic Book Day. Let me know what you've picked up. Let me know if you've read any of these. And most of all, because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, please feel free to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'll be back with more soon.